Welcome to Blog and Mablog from DougWills.com. This audio is brought to you by Canon Press. In this post, Pastor Wilson reviews the game film of No Quarter November 2020, as well as offers a call to action. The next few years will be critical, and the enemy will be attempting to interfere with communication on all fronts. The Canon app, replete with the entire audio catalog from Canon Press, will play a big role in how we communicate with our people. We're eager to fight in these coming years, and we're asking for your help. Support the mission and the vision of Canon Press to reform the families, the churches, and the cities of our people. You can find the Canon app in any app store of your choice, with more to come, like Roku, Amazon Fire, and even a desktop login. So come aboard the pirate ship and subscribe to the app.
Some November 2020 game film. December 2nd, 2020. Introduction. Now then, it is time for a little retrospective review, little encouragement, and a little explanation of what we are all in for. November 2020 being all over now, we may therefore raise the pressing question, what was that all about? And no, the point is not to tick people off for no particular reason, but rather to encourage sane people to be able to let their hair down for a bit. You know, like an epistemological Mardi Gras. The size of the dent. First, some stats. What was the size of the November dent this year? Everything was considerably up from last year, and this registers no complaints about last year. From my little Mablog bookshop, we gave away a bit north of 1,400 books. This was minor league compared to the giveaway last year from Canon Press, which was about 19,000 books. But you have to remember that Canon Press are the big boys. You know, like the General Motors of reformational outsiders. This year, their giveaway spirit came in a differently wrapped gift package, that being the new Canon app, which has made its very own big splash. Those who sign up get the first month free, and that means there's a lot of free content in there. App audio was played about 13,000 times, and app video about 12,000 times. So that is roughly comparable to Canon's giveaways last year. When people come to the blog, on average, they read 2 posts. When they come to listen, it is to listen to 3 posts. Audio consumption was up about 242%. And speaking of audio, the big transformation has been in the movement over to audio consumption of blog material. I've been recording my major blog posts for about a year and a half now, and right at the end of November, we hit the significant milestone of 2 million downloads. That's an M there, not a K. Not only so, but over 300,000 of those downloads were within this last November. We had about half that number, 150K, viewing the Man Rampant videos. The 3 most popular posts by page views were, drum roll please, Authority of a Fraudulent Election, Women's Ministries as Pestilence, and Pornography for Cuckolds. The most copied texts were, not surprisingly, about the election. They were, quote, a political party that stands foursquare behind the dismemberment of unborn children is not going to flinch when it comes to the dismemberment of your right to cast your vote in a process with real integrity. And when it gets there, the corruption will be out in the open. Me, sometime in November. Second, we have reports that everything is fine and normal. We have reports of voter fraud. We do not know which reports are true, but we do know which reports are censored. And if that doesn't tell you something, then you are not paying attention. Me, also in November. And that second quote, the one about censorship, sets up my closing remarks and my call to action. You want lots of November throughout the whole year? You think we might need that? There's a way to help us do it. The meaning of the dent. We are in a very challenging situation. It is now about a month after the election and nobody has conceded yet, and we don't know what the outcome is going to be. But whatever it turns out to be, turbulence will likely be a central part of it. During such times of turbulence, believing and thoughtful Christians need to be in constant contact with one another. We need to be communicating in an age of shameless censorship. The other day, a savant, who shall remain nameless, responded to something I had said or done, and I'm pretty sure it was about the obviously fraudulent election. Anyhow, he said something helpful like, what an idiotic take. Now, before responding to him, I did my due diligence by clicking on his little icon thingy, thus discovering that he had a sum total of 7 followers. It is generally not a good idea to get into Twitter brawls with people with followings that massive, and so I refrained. But I will say here that this election smells to high heaven and it is not idiotic to react to that rancid smell, the house seeming as though a large rodent crawled behind the refrigerator to die. If we are not in constant communication with one another, that kind of gaslighting is likely to have more of an impact than it ought to. Notice that the establishment is not saying anything like, yes, we know that all these electoral anomalies look really bad, but you have to be patient while the experts sort everything out. No, the official take is that if you have any questions about what is happening to you and to your country, you are a nut, an idiot, a pinhead, dimwit, and a simpleton. Even if I were on the other side of this dispute, having, say, close friends who were in charge of the vote counts in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia, and I knew they were all rocks of integrity, I would freely grant that this whole uproar really looks bad. This fight over the election is not a function of Trump's personality. Who owns Dominion again? We are well past the point of whether or not we can vote freely and fairly, and into the middle of whether we can speak about it freely. This is going to be a battle over speech, communication, publishing, interaction, and discussion, as in whether or not any of this is going to be permitted. We were talking to our grandson Rory last night, and he made an interesting observation. He said that it was truly odd that there were no institutions that were speaking on behalf of half the population. Let me share a couple of thoughts from Milton, and then conclude with, here's what you can do. Quote, let her, truth, and falsehood grapple. Whoever knew truth put to the worse in a free and open encounter. Her confuting is the best and surest suppressing. John Milton, Areopagitica. And again, give me liberty to know, to utter, and to argue freely according to conscience, above all liberties. John Milton again. In the year ahead, we hope to release a torrent of content. There are over 500 reviews of the Canon app to date, and it has a 5-star rating for both iOS and Android. Time to check it out. There is a lot available there now, and much more is coming. We are in the thick of a battle, and the terrain of this particular battle is over our ability to talk with you, to communicate with you. That is the central thing they are wanting to take away from us. And the response will be, you're crazy. Nobody's trying to deny your right to free speech, and you are not allowed to say that someone is trying to deny it, so shut up. Your account has been suspended. This is the decisive point in the line right now. This is what cancel culture on the campuses has been all about. This is what big tech has been trying to do. This is why the left desperately wants campaign finance quote-unquote reform and all the rest of it. We are laboring to stay in touch with you. We are most grateful to you as you help us out.